I'm 74 years old, and I need to tell you something that took me 5 decades to understand. She left me at my lowest, not during a fight, not after some dramatic moment. She just quietly stopped being there, and by the time I noticed, there was nothing left to notice. The version of her that had loved me was already gone, had been gone for a long time. I'm not telling you this for sympathy. I don't want that. I'm telling you this because I think you're doing the same thing I did. Maybe not the exact same thing, but something close enough that it scares me. I look at people your age and I see myself. The way you move through your days, the things you tell yourself, the reasons you give for why now isn't the right time. I recognize all of it. I lived all of it. And I ended up here, sitting in a quiet house at 74, with a lot of time to think about what I chose. That's what I want to talk about. Not what happened to me, what I chose. Because that's the part nobody wants to look at. It's easier to talk about what happened, much harder to talk about what you kept choosing every single day without realizing you were choosing it. I was not a bad man. I want to be clear about that. I worked hard. I provided. I showed up. At least, I thought I was showing up. I believed I was doing what a man was supposed to do, what a husband was supposed to do, what a father was supposed to do. I believed that love was something you proved through action, through sacrifice, through grinding through the difficult years so that the good years could come. I believed that if I kept my head down and kept working, everything else would fall into place. The relationship, the closeness, the conversations we never seemed to have time for. I told myself we'd have those conversations later, when the pressure eased, when the kids were older, when we weren't so tired all the time, when things slowed down. I was always going to be more present later. I was always going to listen better later. I was always going to put the phone down, close the laptop, sit with her without half my mind somewhere else. Later. Later was the word I lived inside. It felt responsible. It felt mature. You sacrifice now so you can enjoy it later. That's what I believed. That's what made sense to me. And if you're honest with yourself, doesn't some part of that sound familiar? Doesn't some part of that sound like you? The turning point didn't arrive the way I expected. There was no single dramatic moment, no argument that finally broke everything open. Nothing like that. I got ill. Nothing immediately life-threatening, at least not at first, but serious enough that I had to stop. For the first time in 30 years, I had to actually stop. No work, no plans, no forward momentum, just a hospital room and a ceiling and the sound of my own breathing. And she was there. She sat beside me for 3 days straight. She held my hand. She didn't say much. Neither did I. But in that silence, something shifted. Or maybe something that had already shifted a long time ago finally became impossible to ignore. I looked at her face, really looked at it, and I realized I didn't know what she was thinking. I didn't know what she'd been thinking for years. We had been in the same house, the same bed, the same life, and I had no idea what was actually happening inside her, what she needed, what she'd been quietly carrying, what she'd stopped asking for because she'd learned, slowly, that I wasn't really listening. I came home from the hospital, and I told myself that was going to change. I told myself I had been given a warning, a chance to do it differently. I didn't do it differently. Not really. Not in the ways that mattered. Old habits are not habits. They are you. They are the shape your life has taken without you realizing it. And changing the shape of your life is not something you decide once in a hospital room and then it happens. It is something you have to choose every single day, every morning, every evening, every time the old pull comes back. I didn't understand that then. What I did was return to work. I returned to the forward momentum. I told myself things were better now. I was more grateful. I was more aware. And for a little while, maybe I was. But 3 months later, I was back inside the same patterns. The late nights, the half-present evenings, the conversations that never went deeper than logistics. What needs to be done? What needs to be paid? What's happening tomorrow? Decades slipped by that way, not in dramatic failures, in ordinary days that added up to something I didn't see until it was finished. She stopped reaching for me, not suddenly, gradually, the way water slowly stops flowing towards something and finds another direction. I barely noticed. I was always busy noticing something else. What are you busy noticing? What are you too focused on to see what's quietly changing right in front of you? Let me tell you what I carry. I carry the trips we talked about and never took. She wanted to see the coast, the one her mother had told her about when she was a girl. We said we'd go. We had reasons every year why we couldn't. Money, timing, something always came up. She never saw it. I carry the conversations I didn't have with my children when they were young, the questions I didn't ask, the evenings I was physically there, but mentally somewhere else, running numbers in my head, thinking about the next day, the next week, the next problem that needed solving. They grew up. They have their own lives now. Those evenings don't exist anymore. That time doesn't come back. I carry the words I didn't say to my father before he died. I thought I had more time. Everyone thinks they have more time. I was going to call him that weekend. I had things I wanted to say, things I'd been meaning to say for years. That weekend never came the way I planned it. I carry the version of myself I kept postponing, the man I was going to become once things settled down. The person who read more, thought more, was more present, more alive, more intentional. That man was always 2 years away. He's still 2 years away. I carry the moment she left, not dramatically. She sat down across from me one evening, very calm, and told me she had been lonely for a very long time, that she had tried to tell me in different ways over many years, that she didn't blame me, that she just couldn't keep living in the silence. I didn't know what to say, because some part of me knew she was right, and knowing she was right made it worse, not better. Now I want to ask you something, and I need you to actually answer it, not out loud, just to yourself. Who are you really living for? When you say you're doing all of this for your family, for the people you love, are you certain that's true? Or is some part of it for the feeling of being needed? For the identity it gives you? For the excuse it provides to avoid the harder, quieter work of actually being present? What are you postponing right now? Not the big things, the small ones. The phone call you keep meaning to make. The conversation you keep meaning to have. The moment you keep telling yourself you'll get to when things are less busy. If you're honest with yourself, when were things ever not busy? When was later supposed to arrive? Here's what I know now, after 74 years, after everything. The things that actually mattered were embarrassingly simple. They were not the deals I closed, or the promotions I earned, or the problems I solved. They were not the house we bought, or the car I drove, or the title on my business card. They were ordinary Tuesday evenings that I treated like obstacles to get through. They were slow Sunday mornings I was too restless to actually sit inside. They were conversations I half listened to while my mind was already somewhere else. They were small moments of genuine connection that I let pass because I didn't understand then that those moments were the whole thing. Not the preparation for the life, not the pause between the important parts. That was the life, and I was somewhere else for most of it. What actually matters is whether the people in your life feel seen by you, whether they feel like you're actually there when you're with them, not performing presence, not putting in time, actually there. That's it. That's the whole thing. And it sounds so simple when I say it now, but it is the hardest thing in the world to actually practice, because the world is designed to pull your attention somewhere else constantly. And the people who love you are quiet about their needs. They don't demand. They just slowly stop expecting. And one day you look up and they've stopped expecting. I need to say this clearly. There is no perfect moment coming. There is no version of your future where everything is calm enough, stable enough, settled enough for you to finally start showing up the way you know you should. That moment does not exist. It has never existed. It will not exist. The only time that is real is right now, this evening, this weekend, the next conversation you have with someone you love. You will not get a warning the way I got one. Or maybe you will, and you'll do what I did. Hear it, feel it, and then slowly drift back to the old shape of things, because it's easier and more familiar, and because you have a good reason, a very good reason, a completely understandable reason. We always have a very good reason. I am 74. She is gone. The house is quiet in a way that I did not choose, and I sit here thinking about all the evenings I wasted wanting to be somewhere else, not understanding that where I was, that was exactly where I was supposed to be. Don't wait until the quiet teaches you what the noise was covering. If this reached something in you today, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you're still waiting for. I read every one. And if you want to keep having these conversations, the ones nobody else seems to want to have, stay around. I'll be here.